State's got one game left before its second bye week of the season. They're headed to Madison for the second time since Ryan Day has become the head coach to face Wisconsin. This will be their third road game in its last four games. And Andrew here is the only one of the three of us that's ever been to Madison, so he gets to go first. Andrew, what's your game time? Oh, not your game time. Your outrageous prediction for Saturday.
Arvell Reese, 10 tackles, 3 sacks. I think when you look at what Arvell Reese has done this year, I mean, it has been one of those conversations where we watched him play against Texas and we went, ha ha ha, he might go in, the NFL draft in 2026. And we kind of joked about it a little bit. And obviously we had been talking about Arvell Reese for many months before that. And then I think a couple of weeks later we went, oh, okay, he's actually going to go in the NFL draft. And I think this is just going to be one of those other weeks where you just start to see him just really continue to just take that leap and really become like one of the better defensive players in college football. Like, it is not insane to say that he and Caleb Downs are kind of on that same level, right? They're on that same kind of path. I was not at Illinois. You guys were, and I was watching on a TV in a hotel, and I very much was watching Arvell Reese still just blow up running backs when they tried to block him, hip toss offensive tackles all over the place. I think Arvell Reese is just really, really good, and we've talked about comparisons for him, and Micah Parsons' name comes up a lot. Like, there's not many players in college football, even over the last 25 or so years, that have been such a dominant edge rusher, but also can play as an off-ball linebacker as he can. So I think Arvell Reese, what did Jim Knowles say last year with his path of destruction? I think that continues on Saturday. I think he continues to elevate himself. I think he continues to push himself into that mix to be, frankly, maybe the first defensive player taken in the 2026 NFL draft. And I think that's going to happen because I think he's going to have 10 tackles, 3 sacks against Wisconsin. I don't know. Wisconsin has been historically built on their offensive and defensive lines. I don't know if they're going to have the manpower to block him. So Arvell Reese is going to have a big day.
I'm wondering how many times Wisconsin gets past the 50-yard line. Stefan, what's your outrageous prediction?
Yeah, speaking of outrageous, I saw this will appeal to our Cleveland audience. I saw a Browns fan on social media did a mock draft of who the Browns would take, and they had Arvell Reese taking a 38th overall. They will build Andrew Berry a statue if he gets a way to get Arvell Reese at 38th overall. That's just not going to happen. That same screenshot had Carnell Tate 21st overall to the Browns. That could happen. That's reasonable. I don't know if you're going to get Arvell 38th overall. I'm going with the running back room. I think this game sets up pretty well for Ohio State's running game to kind of get going a bit. I think it was less than 3 yards per carry against Illinois, but I think combined with the weather, it looks like it's going to be a little rainy in Madison. I think it's an opportunity for Ohio State against a lesser opponent to kind of figure out its run game a bit, and Bo Jackson's going to benefit from that. He looked we not long ago before recording this, we saw him walk out the practice field, looked fine. I know he was a little banged up there at the end of the Illinois game, but he looks the part of someone who's ready to go. So I'm going career high 120 plus rushing yards for him. I think 109 is his career high right now, and 2 touchdowns. One of those touchdowns will be 50 plus yards. Ryan Day doesn't want just this running game to just get going. He wants explosive plays out of that running game. And as much as we talk about Ohio State passing to establish a run, an explosive run does open up a lot of things for you in your passing game, right? It's going to really, limit what defenses can do in terms of sitting back, waiting for you to just throw the ball. So a guy like Bo Jackson getting going this week and then going into the bye week could be really good for Ohio State going into November. It could really establish a bit of that running game that they're trying to get some momentum, trying to get some consistency in. I think Bo Jackson is probably the key to unlocking what that can be. We talked about that on Buckeye Talk earlier this week, just about how important he is to this running game. 120 plus, 2 touchdowns, and one of those touchdowns will be at least 50 yards.
Yeah, I think the thing that's always been so interesting about Ohio State's offense since Ryan Day showed up is they can be explosive without sacrificing efficiency, and they can be efficient without sacrificing explosiveness. Because typically if you're efficient, that means you're conservative. And if you're explosive, that means there's an aggressiveness to you where you're taking the good with the bad in both of those cases. They seem to take the pros of both approaches and combine them. Except for the first 6 games of the season. They haven't really done that outside of the Minnesota game. And then the Grambling game, I don't know. I mean, JJ's open because of a coverage bust, and nobody was going to catch him, so it's an 87-yard touchdown. They haven't really done it in these road games yet. And so I was going to do a run game thing, but I'm going to build on mine so it doesn't feel like we're copying each other here. 4 touchdowns, all of at least 40 yards. On Saturday. And maybe some of them are in the run game, maybe some of them are in the pass game, but that doesn't mean Julian Saying is throwing the ball 40 yards down the field every single time. Sometimes it can be as simple as Carnell Tate was talking about on Wednesday evening. Okay, a team's playing too high and making you keep everything in front. Okay, I took a slant, you missed, and now all of a sudden I'm 65 yards down the field for a touchdown. But I think they've been very, very efficient and very, very slow. But at some point you do want to see the explosiveness kind of the efficient explosiveness that is the Ohio State offense over the years, especially when they have elite quarterback play. You would like to see that come to light, and I do think the combination of Wisconsin's going to play hard. I just don't think they can do anything to stop Ohio State offensively, mixed with the efficiency that we've already seen from Ohio State this year. You get some explosiveness, but they're not necessarily sacrificing efficiency in terms of, sure, there's going to be 3-yard runs and 5-yard runs and 12-yard completions, but one of those 12-yard completions is now 45 yards down the field because somebody missed, or they finally blocked up something right. Bo Jackson or C.J. Donaldson or James Peoples got to the second level. They made somebody miss, and now they're off to the races, because that's the only thing that's missing from the Ohio State offense right now is that explosive element for something that wasn't designed to be explosive, because that's just dudes being dudes. Get the text 614-350-3315. 2-week free trial, $3.99 after that. Ohio State, Wisconsin, the final road game of this 3-game October slate before Ohio State takes a break here, and then they'll come back against Penn State at home. We've been away from Ohio Stadium for a long time. Yes. I'm ready to sleep in my own bed on a Saturday evening, and I got one more game before I'm able to do that. 614-350-3315. 2-week free trial, $3.99 after that. Steven, Stefan, Andrew, see you after the game.